Welcome to the most excruciatingly detailed video about how to play Weezer's El Scorcho in the known universe. I tried to figure this song out a couple years back and there were a couple weird little tiny details that I just couldn't latch my earballs onto, but I'm here to excitedly tell you that I've got it all, every last weird morsel in this song. This video is for Guitar Virgin, Stephen Crutchfield, Vaynard7, and Chief of the LAPD, Timo Roberts. Here we go. Don't shoot the messenger, but if you want to play along with the record, you need to put your guitar one half step down, so E becomes E flat or D sharp, A becomes A flat or G sharp, D turns into D flat or C sharp, G becomes G flat or F sharp, B turns into B flat or A sharp, and E, just like the other E string, becomes E flat or D sharp. Disclaimer, disclaimer, there's literally one note in the whole entire song that requires us to be tuned a half step down. So if you don't want to bother, it's just one little weird morsel, then don't. Just stay in standard tuning and do everything I'm going to show you, but one fret lower, it'll work just fine. One more thing, I made you a tab. It is free, 100%, no strings attached. You can go have it right now on my website, RyanLent.com/show notes, but the title, of course, is in super secret backwards code, so no ne'er-do-wells can horn in on our super secret information. The opposite of El Scorcho is, of course, La Scorcha. Take your pointer finger and play the E string 5th fret. Then your ring finger grabs A7, middle finger to G6, back to A7. Now you're going to slide this ring finger up to 12, and then you're going to do the exact same thing we just did, but starting on the E string 10th fret. 10, 12, 11, 12. Slide back down. Back and forth. Back and forth. Try to give that G string a wiggle. Of course, before the singing starts, in lieu of the 10-1, we get a goofy end tag. I caught 3, or you can make up your own, because they're very silly. You could play anything, it's not wrong. The first one, and this is the reason why we bothered to tune down a half step, is 1 open on the E string. Another one that happens at that exact same moment is E10, A12, A11. And yet a third one that happened another time is going to be A12, G14. That's 2 A notes, an octave chord, you may recognize it. And you're going to move it down 1 fret. So you choose or make up your own, but it's going to be, you know. Or make up your own. I am here bearing a message of great importance. When you do that riff, what you're really doing is playing this note, and that note out of that horrible, awful bore chord that nobody ever wants to play. That's the root note. So if you know your E string, you know what chord you're playing. On the 5th fret of the E string, for instance, is A. So really, you're playing the root 5th and major 3rd of A. And when you move up to the 10th fret, it's the root 5th and major 3rd of D. Back to you, Ryan. She had me at okra. And that's what normal major and minor chords are made of, roots, 5ths, and 3rds. So what you're really doing is you're arpeggiating, plucking one note at a time. The triad, the only 3 notes, required to declare that, for instance, this is A, and this is D. And now that you know that, I was able to get lazy with the tab. Because if you'll notice, I didn't bother to tab it out, because now you know A means this. And it's not as punchy in the chorus. It's ringy-outy, and now it's an electric guitar, but whatever. A, D, A, D, A, D, A, on the 12th fret. That's the first line. And of course the second half is very similar, but the end is different. A, D, A, D, A, E, A, and then you go. That's going to be 10th fret of the E string, followed by 11th fret of the G string. That's the root and third of D, like we've been doing. But then the root and third of whatever note that is. C. Jesus Christ. Know your E string. And sometimes, as the song gets more excited, it's not plucked like that. It's strummed. You could even, one guitar goes just on the E string. You could even do the power chords if you want. Don't do that. That sounds terrible. At the line, you said you'd never heard of them. Here's one of these goofy little morsels that I found. You're going to grab G11 and B10. G moves to 10. And then B12, give it one of those. So, asked you to go to the Green Day concert. You said you never heard of them. How cool is that? So I went to your room and read your diary. There's another one. B string, 9, 10, 12, 10. For the fast part, the bridge, I'm going to show you exactly what they do, and if you want to play these chords some other way that's more convenient for you, that's completely fine. Go right ahead. But the first one's A, the Bohr chord that no one wants to play on the 5th fret. Up to D, same thing on the 10th fret. Down to B minor, so 7th fret, and get rid of your middle finger. And now Weezer loves to put fifths in the bass whenever possible, and here they did. So it's E, not the bar chord on the 12th fret, but E, the one on the 7th fret, A7 and D, G, B, 9, the being your ring finger, plus the 7th fret of the E string as well. That's the 5th in the bass. So A, D, B minor, and E with a B in the bass. And of course, towards the end of that, it starts to chill out and slow down, and they go back to their arpeggiating, just like we did. A, D. Now we're going down to B minor, so it's going to be 7, 9, G7, because it's a minor chord, and back to A9. D, B minor, up to E, and this is great. E12. A14, and then the G string goes 13, 12, 11, which is awesome. That's a little descending riff. It's right when he says falling for you. A, D, B minor, E, into the solo, which is the goofiest darn thing in the known universe. I'm switching to electric because Elizabeth the Tailor does not have a 21st fret, and we need one. Just looking on the tab here, I don't know how anyone's ever going to remember this solo. B12, 14, D15, G14, B12, E13, 12. E string, 19, 17, 16, 17, before you play B17, and now, I don't know that I ever play the 21st fret, but here it is. E21 followed by G18, that's another octave, whatever note that is, it's two of them. And then 19 to 21 on the E string. There is but one final detail in this universe's most excruciatingly detailed video on how to play Weezer's El Scorcho, and it's on the line. Keep my fingernails clean. You're on your D arpeggio, and they bend the G string. And that's it. That is everything I have to say. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that was fun and helpful, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.